I'm faster, I'm more secure than you'll ever be.
We're actively engaged in with 50 governments around the world.
I'm faster, I'm cheap, and my name is XRP. Yeah, I get everybody by surprise with my pocket. Everybody by surprise, XRP. Everybody by surprise, see it coming. Everybody gotta just wait and see. I get everybody by surprise with my pocket. Everybody by surprise, XRP. Everybody by surprise, see it coming. Everybody gotta just wait and see. Bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked now. Bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked now. Bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked now. Bank the unbanked, now bank the unbanked. Yeah, everybody by surprise with my pocket. Everybody by surprise. Bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked now. Bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked now. Bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked, bank the unbanked now.
Imagine your life without banking. How would you pay your bills or store your money for safekeeping?
I'm faster, I'm more secure than you'll ever be. I'm faster, I'm cheap, and my name is XRP.
Howdy folks, I'm Sam I am. Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, this is the digital asset investor.
Hey everybody, it's Effie from Tokyo, Japan.
Yo, what is going on everyone in the XRP community?
What is up, good people? Juggling here.
Hey, what's happening everybody out there in the XRP community? Welcome back to Investment Perspectives.
Hey guys, what is going on? Kevin Cage back with another daily cryptocurrency video. The RTP system can meet specific user requirements and can support future international capabilities. International capabilities. Options for currency trades in 18 currencies for counterparties across the globe, simultaneously in real time. Across the globe, simultaneously in real time. Across the globe, simultaneously in real time. Global marketplace.
I'm faster, I'm more secure than you'll ever be. I'm faster, I'm cheap, and my name is XRP.
Everybody on the spot.
So it's very simple. So I think one thing, if there's one message that you can get in this room is Ripple is not an ordinary company. We are not here to have a small market share or do X, do Y, and make small amount of money or something will happen. We are here to make a dent in the universe. Either we will change the remittance universe, the way you understand, the way value gets transferred across the world, between people, between institutions, or we will just fade away. So it's almost 0 or 1.
Which hopefully is liquidity at the end of the day. I think liquidity is really what drives value here.
The regulatory considerations here, when viewed as infrastructure, the existing compliance and regulatory regimes that we have in place today for AML, BSA, travel for cross-border payments, those are really largely intact. Even on the consumer merchant level, the protections that have been put in place today fit nicely on top of this infrastructure. This infrastructure is really just about facilitating settlement and clearing out obligations and removing exposures and credit that are incurred over the course of payments. And I think the exciting aspect or promising aspect here is that the new regulations are not required. I certainly think that's one approach, and certainly that we've seen that in places like the state of New York. But we've also seen a lot of central bankers take a look at this technology and recognize that there's no risk management system, there's no rules for standardizing membership or message transmission. Really all there is a ledger which can store historical information about who owes what. It's a settlement system. So taken on its own, incomplete as a payment system, taken together with existing rules and schemes, the regulatory obligations are required.
So it took us in total 10 days to set a complete landscape up in the cloud, do an additional mobile web application, connect to the Ripple network, and then send a transaction live from Canada to Germany. So what we were able to achieve in that proof of concept,
as the space grows and as liquidity for XRP grows, and we get closer to that goal of institutional standard, places like a Bloomberg Trade Book or FX All or Word is Direct, they start to list digital assets. These are very traditional capital markets FX liquidity pools. If we get to that point, then it becomes very easy for a bank to run payment through the ledger, right? But really, it's all liquidity dependent, which is really what you're solving for with respect to the cross-border payment with XRP.
International payments are where we really have product market fit right now.
so some people have heard me say this before, but I'll throw it out to the audience. What is Interledger's total addressable market size? All the money. Nobody wanted to feed it. Yeah, it's all the money, because what we're really talking about with this idea of the Internet of Value is creating a single global payment network that connects literally everyone.
All the money. Hello everyone. Let's get started. I don't have any financial advice. I have no financial interests. And I don't want no donations, please. And also I do not have sponsored links. And that's about it from my side. I really hope you enjoyed the intro video. It's from last September. At that point I wasn't really pleased with a few of the YouTubers, which now I am. But you guys should know that. Okay, so I basically am there for you guys. Is excellent connection. Let me move that over so I can keep that visible. Actually, like that. So no problem, Timbuktu. I refound my motivation. Some of you might know that about 2 weeks ago I was on the brink of stopping Twitter and YouTube, and sorry for the bad sound from my voice. Now I hope it's a little bit better. Rajan helped me to get me a bit grounded again, and also Raf from Florida. That's what I meant, Paul S. I sent out a tweet this few days ago with that video and added in the tweet, who has seen that video doesn't need any additional research anymore, he just knows what will happen. All the money, Kevin Patterson. Well, actually it's not my punchline, it's Evan Schwartz's punchline, but maybe I made it a bit more famous. Aurelius Iserda, we still don't know. Some, I don't follow crypto eerie too much, but some have reported that she said in one of her latest live streams, or actually she doesn't do live streams, in one of her latest videos, that, or is it live? I think she's doing, never mind, it's not important. Anyway, in one of her recent videos, she obviously said something that there is an additional amendment coming on in Japan regarding this regulation, which should have been in place 1st of January this year, and that's the reason why SBI has to wait until April. I, however, will contact that guy who kind of promised to have an interview with me about liquidity, guy I met at Swell in Singapore, and because this law, this regulation which came in place 1st of January would have been important for his project as well, and maybe he can tell me if they are, also his guys are now also waiting for this amendment in April, but I don't have no proof, no confirmation, no nothing for that. That's a good question, Paul S. That was basically my standpoint for, like, I don't know, almost a year, I'd say. That we are not really waiting for regulation, and actually I still stand by that ODL as such doesn't require regulation. However, if you want to see a high price on XRP such that high value transaction can go through the system, then we basically need the big guys coming in. My hunch is it'll be the CLS banks. And basically I was confirmed by a guy on a tweet I made. I think I made the tweet, I don't know, maybe roughly a year ago. And at that time I didn't see it, but when I went back, a few weeks back to that tweet, there was actually a guy giving a response on that tweet a year ago, where I issued my hunch that the CLS banks will be the market makers for XRP, and he basically confirmed that the CLS banks are the market makers for fiat, as for foreign exchange. And so I guess I'm not too far off with my opinion regarding that. However, where we need regulation is for those guys to actually be able to hold XRP, and on each transaction, sender and receiver, there needs to be someone who buys on the receiver side the XRP against fiat, such that the recipient receives fiat. And if we're talking like everything above, I don't know, 100,000 or so, it can only be those big guys. And since about, I don't know, 4, 5, maybe 6 months, I think that this is what we're waiting for. And in Europe and in US and in Japan, those regulations should have come in place early this, like beginning of this year. Sorry, but I mean, I always stated, even though when the regulation is in place, it'll take a few weeks, maybe even a few months until we can see action happening upon that. I mean, it'll be naive believing on the deadline date for a new law being introduced. Everyone would run and do its stuff. And I yes and no. I'm all in XRP. However, I told that several times. On 3 exchanges, I have, I think, about 8 or 10 sell orders set up in some, like a ladder: 10, 20, 50, 75, $100, 200, 500, 750, $1,000, I think 2,000 and 10,000. And the reason I did that is, once we rise the way I believe we will, I want to see on which of the exchanges my sell orders got executed fastest. The same I did on the Coinbase exchange. Coinfield. And only to find out that on Coinfield exchange I could only create sell orders, I don't know, maybe 15 or let's say 50% above the current price, but not 5,000 or 500,000% above the current price. But as I had my XRP sitting there already, I took the chance and signed up for the pre-order of the Solo coin, and so I do own a few Solos, but it's, I don't know, less than 1% of my total investment. It's really kind of nothing. 2% down again. Not really. Darcy, I literally have my brain fights with me, like my brain cannot accept the fact or the possibility that for Moon to happen, anything bigger needs to happen. A market crash, an election, a coronavirus or whatever, Brexit or whatever other stupidity. I mean, these are things you simply cannot plan. We have seen it with Brexit. It was supposed to happen, I don't know, last June, and then it was postponed. Do you really think such a payment system will follow those things? And then, like, I don't know, 18 months ago I was contacted by many people, when Trump will be impeached, then XRP will moon. Now the impeachment is here and it will not happen anyway. So, I mean, I really cannot comprehend how people can believe that one could plan something like that. And that's why I believe it's totally independent from anything. It will not depend on market crash, it will not depend on any election for a president, it will not depend on coronavirus breakout, it will also not depend, that we saw that basically, on Brexit or any other thing. Exactly, and Z. Basically, most of the CLS banks are using Finastra products, and as we know, I think it was last September or so, Finastra kind of ensured the partnership with Ripple. And the way I understood that announcement is that anyone using Finastra software for payments, and here I want to explain, Finastra, Temenos, CGI and Task Group, they have not just payment software for banks, they have liquidity management and other stuff as well. So even though most, and me included, believe the CLS banks are actually using the payments part from Finastra, there is no proof. It's just a hypothesis, I think it's called. It cannot be true. But if they are using the payments part, then the way I understood it, it'll be kind of free for them to use. It'll be kind of included in the Finastra package itself. Mark C, exactly, that's what I think. I mean, I initially, like, I don't know, 14 months back or so, I really thought liquidity is mostly about the price. Like a high price brings high liquidity. But that's actually not really the case. If I would sell to any of my viewers here in the video, in the live stream, this cloth, it's actually a cloth to clean my screen. If I would sell that for 10,000 bucks, it had a high price, but the liquidity would be zero, because no one would buy it for that price. Because there is no need. Okay, on the XRP side we could say there is a need. But the fact about liquidity is it needs to basically cover all sizes from micro payments, and that's why it's important that we have applications like Coil and Cinnamon and this music site X Songs or something from that one Ripple developer, and other similar stuff. The more how do you call that in English? The more diverse the use cases and the sizes of XRP payments moved, the higher the liquidity. But for sure, a high price will help definitely a lot to make all those things happen much more fluid. Nazario Parisi, sorry about that. Tezos, there is a guy who is pissing me off on Twitter. I think it was one of those idiotic riddlers. He used to go for XP all the time, and now every other tweet, and since then I muted him, is about Tezos. Tezos will be the next big thing. Tezos will be the next big thing. So eventually I looked it up, and I mean I could see the use case, but as I told in many live streams and videos, just to have a use case doesn't mean you on one hand need a coin. There are many solutions which have a use case which do not need a coin, really not. Smart contracts is one of these situations. On Corda we have smart contracts, no coin, just smart contracts. I'm really interested if any global company will ever use Ethereum or ADA, whatever other of these kind of smart contract platforms. In my opinion, smart contracts is a nice thing, but no coin is needed. And for this Tezos thing, I couldn't see where the coin fits. I just don't see it. When I read about XRP, it was the total opposite. That was literally the only blockchain, well, maybe with the exception of IOTA at that time, where I basically saw, but IOTA I didn't see the use. I mean, I saw that some token would be needed in an Internet of Things, and that it surely might rise, but definitely not in the terms of rise I'm actually expecting for XRP. Are we close? Chicken and egg, I hope you don't chicken out. Gauraf, no, years, I'm pretty sure it won't take years anymore. It would be, I told that example many times, it's like you buy a Porsche, and when the guy, the sales guy hands you the key for the Porsche, he tells, hey, by the way, first 2 years you're only allowed to drive in gears 1 and 2. I mean, I would give the key back and tell him, okay, where's the next Ferrari shop? I don't have any links to Raf from Florida, but I made an interview with him. I think it was not live, we recorded that. In that way I can, if I have to, cut out stuff. I think the title of that video was 4 digits are a joke. Marcus Taylor, no, I don't think the price is restricted by large bag holders, not at all. Darcy, believe whatever you want. My brain just cannot accept. The same as I cannot accept any other conspiracy theory. Like, I really don't want to go into that. I will lose my temper. George, the derivatives market. Somewhere, I don't remember where, but there is one guy on Twitter. I will make a note and will put his search the end game tweet thread. Actually, if you give me a moment, I think I have it in my bookmarks. Just need to scroll down a little bit. David. No. For some reason it won't let me scroll down enough. I will actually let me do a search. XRP and game theory. Nope. I really have to look it up. I don't remember the guy. I think he was called Joe or something, but I don't remember. Yes, Raf from Florida is on Twitter, but I will not disclose his Twitter handle. If you follow me closely, then you might be able to figure it out, but I want to respect his he's usually rather quiet and doesn't tweet too much. He's just super like when you think I'm confident about what will happen to XRP, then imagine me on steroids, like 5 times that confidence or 100 times. It's like I made actually a bet with Ruff once when I was really down and really pissed with many people on Twitter. It was a bit longer ago, maybe 6 weeks or so. I think it was before we went to the mountains with my with the family from Brazil. He actually tried to cheer me up, and he offered me a bet, and he know I think it was on a tweet I made when the guy was making fun of $10,000 per XRP, and I responded, why not? 2025, 26, I could very well imagine XRP hitting $10,000 per XRP. And Raf offered me a bet on that tweet about 200 XRP at the end of 2024. I would win if it's below 5 digits, and he would win if it's above 5 digits. And because we kind of are friends, what we decided to do, we put those 400 XRP in an escrow, and this is a project which is still open. Some of the stuff I figured out. The escrow XRP will go into a wallet with multi-signature enabled, and then we will decide on a nice charity to donate those 400 XRP, which could have quite some value at that time if he's really right. Interesting question, chicken or egg, regarding David Schwartz's tweets on hints or codes. I'm a bit unweary about it. On one hand, I mean, knowing him in person, he's just an amazing person. Like, I cannot imagine that he's trying to play with us. Literally, I cannot imagine that. On the other hand, he's so freaking intelligent that he might make some fun out of it just for the sake of it, not to fool us, but to kind of give us hints. And like that, like he posts sometimes really weird photos as if he had been searching for exactly that photo for a very long time. One of the photos he posted was about the truck which was allowed to carry, I don't know, paper or something recently. And he added in the comment, it's totally regulated to do that, to carry paper. And I answered kind of in the same way he described that regulation for the car. I think I answered XRP is just a bridge asset or something. Meaning it has no other purpose, and kind of implying, if that was what he was kind of implying, then that would basically mean regulation is just fine. That's what I'm anyway like for the last 18 months believe. So yes and no. Where was it? Chicken or egg? I mean, take it with a grain of salt. Cinetic. I'm sorry if I sound rude now, Cinetic, but who thinks XRP will be tied to anything didn't understand XRP and what a bridge asset is. I don't want to be rude, but that's how it is. It will never ever be tied to anything. And I will post video from Rajan. Actually, do I still? Oh no, I closed that window. I will post a link, Cinetic, to, I think it was the first session at Swell, kind of like the keynote speaker after Brad himself like kind of introduced or started Swell, so to speak. It was a guy, I think his name was Rajan something. He used to be central bank boss in India and then was a economist at the IMF. And what he's doing now, I don't know. But Brad Kimes, my arch enemy, I don't know. He asked kind of like that very same question to Rajan, if he could see XRP ever be the global reserve currency and be backed with gold. And Rajan basically teared that question apart, but Brad didn't realize it. He actually thought Rajan evaded his question, when indeed Rajan answered very, very clearly. And what he answered was, actually, this I think I have, let me quickly check, it should be in my media, because that we could quickly watch all together. Hold on.
I have to, and the reason is as follows. as soon as you go to maintaining the value, right, some kind of stable coin, a whole set of regulatory concerns get triggered. I have to make sure that there is corresponding financial or real assets backing this notional value that they seek to maintain. That looks a lot more like a bank, right? Because you're promising some claims which are fixed, and that requires regulation for reasons I just talked about. Now, once you get an army of regulators, every central bank looking at it, then the question is, have you added a whole set of transaction costs to this, and is it worth, is it that useful? As I understand it, what is attempted with XRP is not so much maintaining the value, but offering a vehicle for exchange, which is quite different, because there you can have value fluctuating. All you need is value to be stable for 10 seconds while the whole transaction takes place. And as a result, there's a whole different need for regulation. You don't need to regulate value. I don't care. So long as there is some value, the transaction can certainly take place. And as a regulator, I'm not so worried about either this displacing my fiat currency, because you're moving from one fiat currency to another. It's just an interim value. And it's a means of exchange, but it's neither a store of value nor a unit account, etc., etc. Thank you very much.
And so I hope you could understand what he was talking about. Synthetic, I guess, was your name. He basically explains it very clear. As soon as something is tied back to something, a whole lot of new regulation comes in. That's the reason why Libra was sorry, I need to show myself again. That was the reason why Libra, every central banker in the world and all regulators in the world, hold on. That's the reason why Libra most likely won't see the light of the world. I'm almost pretty sure about that. Why would they, GeoXRP, why would they unload all of their XRP? Really, why? Does Jeff Bezos sell all his Amazon stock? Does Tim Cook sell all his Apple stock? They let their money work for them. That's a continuous income stream. David Sherrill, no, actually it's the other way around. David Schwartz stated, since 2017, at the current price, low value, high volume is totally possible. What's not possible yet, because the price is too low, is high value. Because if you want to do an ODL transaction over $50 million, you simply won't achieve it. ODL has a timeout, I think 2 minutes, and you will not be able to execute so many. Like, it would literally be the whole order book you would need to eat, and even then you wouldn't get there. And that's why we need a high value of XRP in order for high value transactions. The volume is less relevant. Once that's happening, it's a little bit like a chicken and egg. I usually also compare it with a nuclear reactor. It's hard to build, hard to start, but once it's started, it's also hard to stop. That's like something you need to have in mind. Exactly, Wasim Ahmed. Satan, I mean, look, it's like that. It's me. I very, very strongly believe in 3 to 4 digits this year. Rather lower 4 digits, most likely. I'm pretty sure that in a few years we will see close to 5 digits. If you have the same belief as I have, 1,000 extra P's maybe already enough to get financial freedom for the rest of your life. But that all depends. I mean, I wanna make at least 3 million for not be required to work anymore. And whatever is in excess of that, we will, like 98% of the excess money beyond 3 millions, my wife and me will like invest into good projects, clean water in northern Brazil and stuff like that. Paulo Hugos, I'm pretty sure Ripple themselves wanted to have the price of XRP by now also higher. Pretty sure about that. Jans, well, I mean, what? Theoretically, yes. Practically, forget it. Bart is asking if there. I mean, Bart, do you agree if I simplify your question in the way, could XRP replaced by an XRP on steroids? If that's what you're asking, then my answer is, why do you think Ripple invested in Ubri? Hi, my wife in her pyjama. You cannot see her. I can see her. Não, senão foi para ver. Why Ubri? I think it's called Ubri. This initiative where they kind of gave $50 million away to, I don't know, 25 or even more universities worldwide to do research in blockchain. Generally research, not just for payments. As I said earlier, there is other interesting use cases, and actually those who follow Xspring have seen that the last, I don't know if it was called hackathon on Xspring, they had like 4 like more civil oriented topics. I don't remember which ones, but identity, healthcare and something like that. But assuming in any of these universities will come a method along which will make any blockchain factor 10,000 faster for whatever reason, because something great was invented, you can be sure XRP will be the first coin where that will be implemented. I mean, after all, XRP is software and it can be amended. As example, David Schwartz stated, I think in a forum entry he made in, I think it was middle of 2017, that the decimals, right now we have 6 decimals on an XRP. That makes one XRP having 1 million drops. And some people argue XRP cannot rise to $10,000 because micropayments wouldn't work anymore, because a drop would be a cent. So how would you pay less than a cent if the smallest amount would be a cent. And David Schwartz basically gave that answer in 2017 already. One could vote to increase the decimals to 12 or 15 figures. So stuff like that is possible. And Bart, the important thing is, it's not just about the technology, it's also about the ecosystem. Why do you think they hired Miguel Villas to really take care for, like, I think now 4 years already, to build up liquidity all around the world? I mean, show me one other coin which is, okay, maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they have early mover advantage, but not one of the other coins can be traded on so many exchanges as XRP. David Sherrill, high volume will be the effect of high value. When XRP has a high value, the volume will automatically come from the banks. Swift transacts 5 trillion a day. At 10%, that will be 500 billion a day. And I'm pretty sure RippleNet has that potential for 500 billion. And you can imagine the volume of transactions going through. Like Swift. Okay, on the Swift side, I'm not sure. Swift has a figure of 15 million payment messages per day. However, the Target 2 system has only, I think, 1.7 million payments per day. So on the messages in the Swift system, I'm not sure if each hop is counted as an additional message, or if like start to end is just one. That I don't know. But let's assume it's anywhere in the middle between 1.7 million payments from Target 2 and this 15 million from Swift, so at 8 million or so. And 10% will mean that we would have like 800,000 transactions per day. Let me calculate that. 800, and that's actually not too much. 80,000, 800,000 divided by, I think it's, so don't get disappointed. That's a mere 10 transactions per second higher than what we see now. So XRP with 1500 transactions per second has way enough space to grow. But by the way, not just payments are transactions on XRP Ledger, but also, let's say, if you make an order on the decentralized exchange, or if you rotate your keys, or if you add multiple signatures, you can cancel a payment, you can cancel an offer and stuff. All these are transactions. So the TPS we see is not just about payment. Okay, that's very important to understand as well. Aurelius Itzerda, I'm pretty sure we will see 10 euro very soon. Today is quiet. I'm not really boring today. Are you guys tired? I mean, 150 viewers, that's like top 3. I had on Sunday 165 concurrent live viewers, and once, I think when I made this special live stream about, what was it? I think it was about the proposed stablecoin features. I think in that live stream I had about 190 or so live viewers. Today you guys you're not sleeping, are you all with me? Should I dance and sing? Like a birdie, I do what you want with icon or whatever it's called. I mean, it'll trigger all fibers in your body if it is something. If it isn't, it won't do that. With me, I read about XRP and every fiber in my body screamed, "Rich, rich, rich, this will make me rich." It was like, I don't know, few times in my life I had a similar like revelation maybe. The moment I knew I would marry, or at least I would ask her to marry me, my wife. Eventually she said yes. I'm a really happy man. But I mean, I didn't know at that time. ...221 sogar, als es am meisten waren. All logic, no hype. I mean, synthetic, look, I mean, I know my figures are high and some may think I'm a pipe dreamer or living on hopium or whatever. But I mean, all those figures I laid out in the past, it's all available in my playlist, my most important XRP videos. Go and check it yourself. Check in each and every of these videos the accompanying material in the description. There is usually a PDF, or if I talk about numbers, it's usually an Excel file. Go and play with those figures yourself. Get yourself an idea. I mean, I once posted a video that XRP will easily get $5,000. Will be at $5,000. Why? I offered 4 perspectives, and I may quickly recap those 4 perspectives. One was the XRP price calculator. Whatever figure I entered, I always ended up between, I think, $800 and roughly $6,000 per price. However, that calculator is very conservative in his figures. Why? Because he doesn't kind of take into account the use case of XRP being a bridge asset, and that the exchanges need to have enough liquidity. So that was perspective 1. Like, then another perspective, what I told before to, I don't know, to someone who asked me about I don't remember. Someone who asked me about high volume. Anyway, when David Schwartz stated high volume, low value is possible, and I think he told that around when we were 50 centish or so. And I know that there are really high value payments up to over $1 billion in one single payment. So if we're being modest and think that a high value payment is only 50 million, and we think about low value, which is basically what we're seeing now at ODL, roughly between $10,000 and $20,000. When that's low value, and we do the math, we get that factor between 50 million and 10,000 and apply that to the current price, we also come to very, very high figures. And that's all very conservative. And one perspective was my video about market mechanics, where I basically showed like expected amount of total volume going through the total market, how many people would hold or sell their XRP. And I mean, obviously everyone buying XRP already at a high price will hodl because he wants XRP price to increase even more because he wants to make a profit, right? And also in that example, I mean, I was like 5,000, there was like the upper mid-range of the figures, maybe, if you so want. And the last perspective was the buy and sell walls of the Shane Ellis theory. Shane Ellis proposed or told that the high price will be maintained with buy and sell walls on the exchanges. And when he basically told about that theory, or about how it will happen, he very clearly stated this is how it will happen. There was two sell walls on Bitrex, one over 600 million, just below $10,000, and one about 400 million, just below $20,000. And those four perspectives, and I think I even came along with another one. And actually Manuel had an interesting thought today. He was actually calculating how many XRP the biggest ODL transactions need to buy at the current price. And I think he came to 60,000, I think, XRP. And then he applied that value to the $10,000 of the sell wall on Bitrex, and he arrived exactly at the 600, those 60,000 XRP. If you apply the 10,000, you get exactly those 600 million sell wall. And maybe that's really some tipping point. I really don't know. It's just, but all this together, I believe in less than 5 years we will be at least in 5,000, if not higher. But if you believe that I cannot tell. And coming back, that was a very long explanation to that guy who said every time he watches me he buys more. I mean, it really depends on how much money, how big you think, you believe it can go. Thank you, Elfie. Enough is enough, you're not the only one. I just told you today I'm so sick. My company was such a great company, but the last 6 years they've just fucked up everything. Mike, the lesser volatility in XRP will automatically come through high value and high volume. Don't worry. I mean, it's the same with, I don't know, Apple stock. Apple stock has a huge volume every day because there is a lot of traders getting in and out of Apple stock. And I mean, what do we see? Like 1% up or down per day. That's it. And the volatility will be in that very same range as traditional stock is. It will not be like today, 5 or 10% up or down. It just not volume and value of the transaction will take care of that. Trump Bishenelli. The shortcut. Are you referring to my hair? R-Star. I mean, I would assume besides my followers, I don't know, 4,000 followers I have on YouTube and 6,000 on Twitter. When you think about the XRP community be 10 times as high, like 60 or 70,000 people on Twitter and on YouTube. I'm pretty sure from the rest, from the 90% of the rest which are not followers of mine, 90% of that rest 90% will definitely sell at $10. They have no clue what they invested in. They're literally clueless. And sorry, Synthetic, if I have to come back to you, it's really not meant to be rude or arrogant or so, but this video from, I will really post that link to this Rajan video. This is the crucial video and explanation to understand about what XRP is doing and why or why not regulation is not so much required for it. Everyone who understands what Rajan is actually talking about in this like 2 minutes tweet has understood XRP. It's a bridge. That's it. For the 2 minutes an ODL transaction guarantees the price. The price has to be more or less stable. That's it. And the fluctuations for those who, but maybe price fluctuates 2% in those 2 minutes. This will be handled via the slippage pools. Richard was at Swell so intelligent to ask a guy, and the guy answering was a bit stupid, actually telling us, because I'm pretty sure he shouldn't have been telling this to us, but there are slippage pools or a pool which basically will, if you buy, let's say you need to transact 1 million, so the ODL transaction and the price is at $1,000, so the ODL transaction tells you need to buy 1,000 XRP to be order to transact that 1 million. Now the price drops to 900, it's very extreme, to $900 during those 2 minutes. So the 1,000 XRP you bought only have a value of 900,000. So the slippage pool will cover the 100,000 loss, but obviously I'm pretty sure they leverage this somehow. I mean, I don't know how far those slippage pools really go, but let's just for the sake of simplicity stick with that. So the slippage pool will add the missing XRP such that the recipient can sell at $900 and still receive $1 million from me or from whomever sent. And the same thing obviously happens when the price goes up from 1,000 to 1,100, because the recipient will then basically receive 1,100,000. So what ODL is doing, it takes away as much XRP such that the recipient exactly receives his million. And because this up and down is kind of leveling out, in the end, like in the long run, it'll more or less level out for Ripple. I'm pretty sure Ripple is paying, I mean, they have quite some XRP to do this top up or cut down. So one last question, and while I'm waiting for that last question, I want to say thank you for everyone again coming and watching and listening and hopefully laughing in between sometimes. I want to thank you for your persistence, for your trust, for your confidence, and please hodl, don't get weak. I mean, I repeat it again. When I read about XRP, like every cell in my body cried, this is it. With every other project, I can see that some might require a token, like Internet of Things, IOTA, stuff like that. But I don't see such tokens go up in price like 2,000,000% or so. Whereas with XRP, I literally have no weakness in seeing that profit happening over time. So, there one, thank you, Ian Gracias. So there is no more question. In that case, I wish you a nice week. Let's hope that we will see another great day with XRP. I mean, great-ish day tomorrow and the coming days. Let's see what happens. Take care. Some of you I will see in the German live stream on Thursday, and the others hopefully next Tuesday in a week. Okay? Take care. Hoi Sonja, mein Schatz. Jetzt bin ich gerade fertig geworden. Just finished. Bye bye.